Would the Leica Q3 43 replace my film cameras? Hey guys, this is Sam. Welcome back to another episode of Leica. After carrying the Leica Q3 43 as a daily camera, I wanted to find out if I could shoot portrait with it, the same way I shoot with my medium format film camera. So I brought it to Yiheyuan, a royal park in Beijing.
对，今天这是会有火烧云是吗？
应该是。
哦。
Before we get into the photos, I want to talk about two settings I've changed for this shoot and the reason why. I have been shooting this camera on manual mode with autofocus turned on and nothing else really touched. I noticed myself kept looking at the back of the screen, checking, reviewing, framing, adjusting. There's all these things outside of the frame. It starts to get a little distracting. So for this session, I turned the autofocus off, not because I wanted to manual focus. The point was to force myself back into the viewfinder to really focus on what's actually in the frame instead of just looking at the screen on the back of the camera. And the second thing is I also set my ISO at 400 for the whole day. I was thinking, all right, let's just pretend we're shooting on portrait 400. That's one less setting I need to worry about. That's one little thing to make the shooting experience a little closer to shooting film.
Hello， 你好。哦，我觉得你刚刚站在这边好看呢，我可以给你拍张照吗？可以吗？哦，好。
突然好多人哦。So first of all, the Leica Q3 43 is a full-frame camera with a 43mm lens. And I haven't shot this type of portrait on 35mm for a long while. I'm mostly on medium format now, so that's the first thing I worry about. It's the format differences. But I think the first photo turned out pretty nicely, shot at wide open at f2 and 1/2000th of a second. You can see this nice background separation. I think we're off a good start.
Hello， 不好意思打扰一下，我觉得你坐在这边就很漂亮，我可以给你拍张照吗？可以。啊，可以吗？可以吗？你可以把这个脚往这边放一点，然后对，然后手这样子放嘛。对。好，现在慢慢转头来看我。哎，稍微歪一点点头，对，打扰了，谢谢。
And then I think I start running into this thing we call the magic of media format, the illusion of sense of space. With media format cameras, somehow it always feels like it's easier to isolate your subject from the background. This lens on this camera opens all the way to f2, which is pretty wide. I guess what I'm trying to say here is when shooting on a full-frame camera or 35mm camera, I just have to pick my angle a little better or take time to reposition and place my subject in front of a cleaner background.
Hello， 哦，我觉得你长好漂亮，我可以给你拍张照吗？可以吗？哦，我们过来坐这边吧，坐那个柱子那边呢。好的。啊，我看一下，坐在这儿吧。你就这样子坐在这儿，然后这样子靠着，这样坐就好。OK 吗？哎，对，就这样很好。好，再加我调一下。
When I take straight portraits like these, genuinely, I don't want to take too much of their time. So that would require me to find a background that works immediately close by. The first two shots turned out not too bad, but I think the lighting could be better. Then we just moved to a more open area with this red pillar in the background. And this becomes one of my favorite shot of the day.
对，你把头发，这个头发拨前面的。哦，对对对，这样好看，好，来转过来头看我，哎，对，哦，好看。
The subject was standing in the shade, but her body and her face was open to the light, the soft, warm 4-something clock afternoon light. Her red t-shirt stands out pretty nicely against the pillar behind her, with slightly darker and less saturated red. And it also contrasts very nicely with the green trim of the window in the background. The camera didn't make this photo. The light, the color, the simple wardrobe, her beautiful eyes, the gentle smile on her face, the background, everything just fell together like a puzzle. Me and the camera is merely a blank canvas that fell on the painting.
我现在一副老年人的感觉。妈耶！哇哦，好漂亮呀！哎呦，我老天嘞！
Speaking of painting, what this camera does really well, I think it's when you close down the aperture, shoot something that's more flat, with more details, and you actually work out the environment intentionally and the composition carefully. That's where the modern digital look comes to shine. Thanks to the technology, this lens is incredibly sharp in a very nice way, and the color can be very true to reality, very clean, and very honest. I normally wouldn't take so many shots like these views when I shoot with my, for example, Pentax 6-7. You only have 10 shots per roll, and I'm not so much of a landscape person to begin with, but I mean, look at these photos. The photo themselves might be boring, cliche. People who came to this park might already took the same shot over and over again, but doesn't matter. I just simply enjoy the color so much. The color that brings the heat of the summer, the breeze of the lake, and the fresh smell of the trees.
This is so cool. They're all like waiting, and a bunch of them are. Their cameras are hooked up to a battery. They're doing like time lapse here.
I shot over 300 photos that day. 300. When I first picked up this camera, I was very careful with my shutter count, treating it almost like a film camera. But that discipline loosened pretty quickly. By the end of the day, I was taking 8 to 10 shots per person to get just 1 or 2 right. And for those more casual, unposed moments, maybe 4 to 6 shots each. And honestly, a lot of the time when I pressing the shutter, I already knew this photo wouldn't work, but I took them anyway because the cost of film is no longer the concern. Compared to how I shoot medium format film, normally 2 shots per person. If I'm really pushing for it, 4 at most, and that's it. Every frame, every shot, every time I press the shutter, it's a decision I have to really commit to. But now you're shooting on digital, you should embrace that freedom, the ability to shoot more, to check the shot immediately, to reshoot if needed. I understand that. But for me, that's exactly what I was trying to get away from when I switched to film a few years ago. That safety net just quietly changed how I work, whether I like it or not. I just wasn't as committed to each shot as I was before, and I could feel that when I was shooting. Here's something I felt uncomfortable for me personally that I didn't see coming. After you take someone's portrait, they sometimes want to see it. So you will show them the photo on the back of your camera. And then you just stand there, secretly observing, waiting to see if they like it or want to say something about it. Do they like it? Are they disappointed? Are they about to ask me to edit it before I post it? But more than that awkward moment, it's my overthinking that exhausted me. I shouldn't care. I know I shouldn't care, but I just can't help when I know they can just see the photo right there. I can't help to make the photo to please the person I just took photos of, and that shouldn't be the way.
那您来这儿吧。我刚刚就看到您就站在这儿。
But with film, that moment doesn't exist. You take the picture, you thank them. If they ask to see it, you say it's film, and then you both move on. By the time they do see it, there are very few people they do ask me to send them the photo, which normally it's long after the fact. Nobody standing there judging it on the spot, including myself. And when I finally see the photo, it's usually days, weeks, sometimes months later. Developing, scanning, all of that takes time. And that time gap resets my judgment. Looking at my own work after months later, it's like looking at somebody else's work. Sometimes the results can surprise me, like, wow, that actually turned out much better than I thought, or wow, that's terribly underexposed, but oh well, there's nothing we can do now. So when it comes to culling, editing, I find myself can be more decisive, more critical, and more honest. I guess that's part of the reason I really like this whole film thing.
Let's do it. Actually, do you mind like just go over there? We'll do this background again. Yeah, right there. Beautiful. Do you mind like just stand like straight and just hold your back like this? Yeah, beautiful.
Even with all of these different experience thoughts, there are photos from this session I genuinely really happy with. And when I look at them, I thought, wow, these photos would be good photos on the Pentax 645, the 6.7, or the Hasselblad 501c, because the lighting was right, the background was right, the whole atmosphere was right. Those conditions did most of the work for the photos.
Oh, do you mind like stand like over there, like? Yeah. That's yeah. 1 second. Can I take one more? One more. Do you mind get a little closer? Yeah, right there you go. Do you mind if I take one just you? Yeah, just you. Yeah, just you. Do you mind? Yeah, you. Ah, thank you.
Would I rather these photos were shot on film? Would I pick a 35mm film camera over the Leica? No, because I like how clean and how sharp these images look. I like the texture the Q3 produced. But medium format film camera, tough to say. If the answer is yes, it would be for the consistency of this type of portraits I've already shot plenty on film. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that's a really cool shot. I like it.
Maybe more I shoot with the Q3, more I would tip over to digital, build another set of work of this digital look. Who knows? Film or digital, what do you want, Sam? Make up your mind. But do I have to pick one?
Ah! I did it! I missed it! They were doing a big group photo, I missed it!
Overall, the Leica Q3 43 is an incredible daily carry camera, but this test really made me wondering, you know what this would be very good for? Maybe it's time to try something different, something looser, faster, less posed, something more raw, like documentary style? I think this camera might be a very handsome tool for that, and that would be another future experiment. And this is Sam. I will see you next time. Bye!